Good morning. Sometimes as a trader, it's about what you don't trade as well as what you do trade. For me, staying out of the cup was my wise move. Just don't trust these teams. You saw the contrast: Chelsea, Newcastle in the league, Newcastle, Chelsea in the cup. Completely different scorelines because we had completely different teams out. Yesterday, though, given Genoa's recent form, emphatic wins, we could have arguably laid the draw second half, but it was a tough match against a stout Genoa. It took a lot. Only the 4 shots on target throughout the whole match. That's what kept me a little negative. It's obvious that Genoa were very solid defensively. Roma Torino, well, Roma scored first and Lazio 2-0 up before you could say it. And I thought the odds were a lot higher than that. I thought they were about 3.9, or was I mistaken? But huge value for Lazio yesterday. Very rare you're going to get odds like this. Newly promoted side against a team very, very strong this season. Strange market, that one. Dutch Cup, up to you if you play or not. Put it that way, simple as that. Relationship between short odds and goals, clearly apparent. 1.33, 1.5. Volendam, I think, came from behind to get the equaliser and push on. Or, no, Sparta Rotterdam as well. But it's up to you if you trust them or not. Simple as that. I didn't pass it on to you, but they obviously performed, got the equaliser, and then pushed on in extra time. But quite clearly, 1-1 at half time, 1-1 at full time, not quite in keeping with market expectations. Certainly add extra time into that, and that was more like it. So predominantly cup day yesterday, not much for me to do. Strong favourites delivering. For those of you who like an overs play, particularly on my 1.35 shots and lower, what you can do with those 1.35 and lower is look for the goal before half time. If you get it after the 15th minute, you're going to get decent odds for overs and you'll be out at that 1-0. That's a nice strategy. Delay, get better odds for overs because you're expecting overs. There we go, 27th minute penalty. That would have got you the important goal before half time for these shorties. Antwerp, I think Dienza scored for it. No, Antwerp, 29th minute. So it took them a while to break them down, but you've got the goals before half time in all of these matches. And I suppose league cup matches are really good fodder for overs, I would suggest. Brøndby and Midtjylland, I did put this up very half-heartedly as a good night message. Brøndby take the lead, Brøndby red-carded, but Brøndby did get a 2-0 win against Midtjylland recently in the league. Up to you if you wanted to lay the draw, lay Brøndby on that red card basis. You would have been rewarded, as you would have been in Portugal. We had Braga against Guimarães at 1-1. Braga getting that second goal. I gave that one a mention as well, but you can see you needed a penalty to get that second goal and a red card. So tighter match than was first imagined. Porto Moreirense, are they bringing in the goals before half time? Well, 34th minute, you'll take that. You'll still make a profit if you back over 2.5 goals for these shorties. So it's a good strategy. Cup day, not much else to talk about. How about these shorties? 1.01s. Wins to nil expected. We're expecting this type of a scoreline. Didn't quite get it with this 1.01 shot, did we? Atletico Madrid. Probably a much, much changed side. Espanyol, we did with them. Did we get goals before half time? That's what I would expect. Well, a missed penalty, 15th minute, would have really opened the door up. What a pity. And Atletico Madrid, any goals before half time? No. Took them a long time to get through, 81st minute. So those of you delaying, you'd have got some decent odds about the 1.01 shot later on. You've got to keep the faith. A nice trick, even 75th minute onwards, back 0-2. You should be expecting 0-5, 0-6, 0-7. Now 0-2 would not be without the realms and looking at the cavalry coming on as well, that would have been probably a good starting point to get involved. 58th minute, bring on Julian Alvarez, big signing, and Antoine Griezmann, just to change it round a little bit. But you've had to be a bit quick, so maybe the second substitution a good entry point to start trusting Atletico Madrid to deliver. You'd have been rewarded with that red card as well. That would have been like a goal. So there's ways to play. Delaying, of course, the best route for these shorties. On to today. Let's have a look. Day off for me, and I need it. I've been up very, very late. Bayer Leverkusen and Stuttgart, two Champions League sides. Don't forget. This will be where Bayer Leverkusen stutter. Likely pre and post Europe is where they stutter. So we can have a look here. Playing Liverpool, that's going to be impactful, particularly for the manager with this Liverpool connection. And Stuttgart are at home to Atalanta on the 6th. So start your engines. We're going to see some Champions League mayhem this weekend. I think I've shown you comprehensively the fatigue factor. Now we've got the distraction factor. The managers are going to try to rest some of their key stars while still trying to be competitive this weekend. So Friday begins a Champions League sides. Irish Premier Division, best approached in play. You can get a clear idea with the standings, particularly 1.2 shot. Second in the league, Shamrock Rovers. A win will take them top today. So look for motivation like that from Shamrock Rovers, 1.2. St. Pat's against Sligo. Have a look at the standings individually. And St. Pat's are third, Sligo are sixth. St. Pat's are on a run of 5 consecutive wins already. So they look a side in form and they're priced to be competitive. Eerste Divisie, we had 100% over 2.5 goals and both teams to score last Friday. So please listen up. Place it if you want with a bookie. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. Accumulate it in the Eerste Divisie. Came in last week, you would have made a pretty penny. Alaves and Mallorca is a very tough nut to crack. 2.6 the favourite. Don't fancy that one at all. Are they involved in Europe? Alaves in particular. Might have had a good season last season. I can't remember. I doubt it though. No, they're not. Neither side involved in Europe. We normally see some Friday European candidates. Those are the main leagues. We've got Dender, newly promoted Dender could be vulnerable. So one to target, 7:45, particularly if it's 0-0 at half time, or if they score first or are leading 0-1 late on. Pre-Champions League for Dinamo Zagreb, who cocked up their post-Champions League fixture last time out. They could be vulnerable, particularly away from home. They're certainly not backable at 1.36, that's for sure. Danish First Division will be a good league for you overs candidates. Tends to be a good league for goals. These lower tiers do. Luton and West Brom, very tough nut to crack. 2.63 the favourite. Hope you're learning now how to interpret the market. That's quite simply the market can't split these two sides. FA Cup, Notts County odds on, and Huddersfield as well. Could be worth following later on. Premier League 2, over 2.5 goal league, heading up towards the 67-70% mark. And if you want to keep an eye on the overs leagues, go to soccerstats.com and you can keep tabs as we change week in, week out on which sides are the best for over 2.5 goals. So you can scroll down, look for a familiar league and a tradable league. Singapore Premier League can be traded, but we're looking, I think the first one will be the Professional Development League or the Premier League 2. And then we'll see the Germans involved as well. Bundesliga 2, 67% over 2.5 goals. Bundesliga, 67% over 2.5 goals. So you have been warned for tomorrow. Keep an eye on your overs in the Bundesliga. Elsewhere, what's the next tradable league? Probably the Professional Development League. Oh, no, it's not. It's the SPL at 63%. So that's quite something. I'm sure the Professional Development League is here somewhere. It should be quite high percentage. There we go. 69% for the English Professional Development League. And Premier League 2 is up there on 71% over 2.5 goals. Very familiar leagues to you playing today. So if you fancy a tilt at over 2.5 goals, why not focus on a league where 7 out of 10 matches are overs? Similar story, Professional Development League. Nice and simple, isn't it? French League 1, Monaco are involved in European club competition. So this is the time where they're most vulnerable, even when they're strong odds-on favourite. Now, what worked last week was laying these favourites once they scored first. But you can see they're playing Bologna in the Champions League. Distraction. But it's one of those matches. They are the better side by a country mile, in the quite clearly the better form this season. But this is the only time they'll slip up, will be with that Champions League distraction. Lille and Lyon both involved in Europe as well. And that one's a tough one to crack. French League 2, always worth following. Particularly keep an eye on the newly promoted sides who will both fancy the win today. So this could be more competitive than 2.2 the favourite suggests. Lorient, newly relegated, so should be enjoying life in the lower tier. Odds on away from home. Those would be the first one. Paris FC are top of the league, so keep an eye on them with home advantage today. Those would be the three standouts for me. The most readable matches on paper. Of course, in-play stats can reveal a lot more. Bundesliga 2, Preußen Munster newly promoted. Ulm newly promoted as well. We have for 2 consecutive weeks now taken on a late draw in the Ulm match. One of them got very well rewarded last week. We didn't get rewarded, but I would take it on again. I think this is a match Ulm could target for the win against an underperforming Schalke. Similar story, Schalke will be thinking redemption time against the newly promoted side. So we could see some action there. Preußen Munster newly promoted as well. Watch out for potential vulnerability late on. So Dusseldorf, I think, newly promoted. Preußen Munster newly relegated, or the other way round. Dusseldorf newly relegated. Preußen Munster newly promoted. I would always go with the newly relegated side myself, having had that season in the Bundesliga or longer. Working our way down on a bitty Friday. Tend to take it off. Sporting Lisbon about to lose their manager to Manchester United. 1.08 today against Estrela. Estrela, I think, newly promoted in the Portuguese La Liga, so a very strong fancy there. Don't forget, pre-European club competition is the only reason for a cock-up from the likes of Sporting Lisbon today. Turkey, no Turkish First Division. So it's a quietish Friday. And do please know who's involved pre and post Europe this weekend. Okay, just refresh your memory. 5th, PSV Eindhoven, Girona, Slovan. We know Dinamo Zagreb are away from home now. Monaco odds on at home. Celtic, Leipzig, Lille, Juve. Liverpool, Bayer Leverkusen playing today against another Champions League side. I think they were. Stuttgart, Sporting Lisbon playing today. Man City, Real Madrid and AC Milan. Watch out for potential struggles for these sides today. It's a very tough fixture list, isn't it, recently for these teams. Champions League on Wednesday. Club Brugge, Aston Villa. They did underperform last week with that 1-1. Shakhtar Donetsk, young boys were excellent against Basel midweek and made a profit on that. But they might underperform this week. Red Star, that's a Crvena Zvezda, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Benfica, Feyenoord, Salzburg, Inter, Arsenal, PSG, Atletico Madrid, Sparta, Brest. There's Stuttgart and there's Atalanta. So watch out for these teams. Besiktas and Malmo, less so. And the Conference League for me, less so again. But look at all the names. Watch out for potential distractions from them. So if any of this lot are very strong favourites this weekend and they concede first, just double check that they're not involved in Europe. You should have a fair idea. They're all pretty well the kind of teams we would trade anyway. Conference League, well, Chelsea are playing the mighty Noah Park, the Ark. The 600-year-old is going to show them how to do it with his wife. A couple of giraffes as centre backs. Stick a gorilla in goal. Noah's going to do the business. That's going to be an absolute bloodbath for Chelsea. Guimara has been in excellent form this season and in Europe. Hearts got a fascinating match against Heidenheim, the German Bundesliga side. Likely I'll be favouring Heidenheim here. Shamrock Rovers against the New Saints should be winnable against the Welsh side. They were very well priced against a Northern Irish side recently and won quite easily. So watch out for some value, like with Lazio yesterday. Playing Larne. I mean, this is a Northern Irish side. This lot, we're not even odds-on favourite. So watch out for some value. Day off for me today. Do enjoy your trading this evening. Have a think about the tradable leagues today. The Eerste Divisie Professional Development League and the Premier League 2. Good luck if you're trading. I do hope you'll have a swing at it this evening. You've got to have a go yourself. Over-reliance on me is not going to get you anywhere, is it? You know the techniques, you know the angles. You can do this while you're watching telly. Get Football 24 up on your mobile phone. Or if you've got the In-Play Guru, pick these matches and just listen out for the goals coming in on the auditory alert. This one, monitor 0-0s at half-time. For the shorties, 1.43 for example, you can infer possibility of a goal before half-time. Maybe back over 2.5 goals after 15 minutes. So have a go. As far as the trading is concerned, just one note of caution to you. It's pre-Champions League, pre-Europa League, pre-Europa Conference League. Now, if I am up and about, I will certainly pass on trades to you, but please don't expect any. It's a very, very tough staying up late for me, particularly with a 7-hour time difference now. Thankfully, I'm off to Guernsey in December, so I'll be on a English time zone, which will be lovely. But I'm good luck to you this evening, and I might be on Telegram later on, but no promises at all.